Good morning and welcome to the online worship service of the Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I invite you to follow along in the order of service. All links for this service, including the order of service, are on our website at www.kuuf.org and in this morning's worship service as email as well. Whoever you are and wherever you are from, for this hour, we here are one gathered congregation, and all are welcome. My name is Ed. I've been a member of this church for about 3 years, and I serve as one of your elected board members. Also, when the choir gets to perform again, our esteemed KUUF choir, I hope to rejoin that group, and look forward to seeing you all as we manage this hill back towards being able to be together again. Our worship leader this morning is the Reverend Jessica Starr Rockers, our own settled minister. I would like to welcome any visitors. Please join us and introduce yourselves after the service during our Zoom coffee hour. We welcome everyone to attend. The link for the coffee hour is in the email that went out this morning and will show on the screen following the service. You will need to use the password COFFEE with a capital C to be admitted to the coffee hour. Announcements are available on our website and in our weekly email newsletter, The Candle. We would like to start today by acknowledging that the land on which we all live is the Aboriginal territory of the Suquamish, the S'Klallam, and the Skokomish people. They have lived in harmony with the lands and waterways along the Washington Central Salish Sea for thousands of years. These tribes still live here and protect the land and waters of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by the Point Elliott and Point No Point treaties of 1855. Now please enjoy our call to worship, Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers, performed by Alina Hemingway, Brian Kenny, and Mike Menifee.
Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers, toward the light is striving, from the iron touch of cold, springs the new leaf tender, bursting forth in green and gold, glory in its splendor. Herb and plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure, now be stirring green and strong, find in growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing. Flowers make glee among the hills, and the meadows dancing.
Join me now in lighting our chalice. If you have your own chalice or candle at home, please light it as I read our chalice lighting words. As we celebrate life's beauty, may we never forget that we are a part of it. It's woven not only around us, but through us. We are here to notice those elegant strands, the way they call to us, hold us, and connect us. May today enable that beauty to shine. Our opening hymn, The Sweet June Days, is set to Forest Green, an English melody, and was written by Samuel Longfellow. Samuel was a Unitarian minister and the younger brother of poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Please join in singing our opening hymn, The Sweet June Days, number 65 in our gray hymnal. The lyrics will appear on the screen.
The sweet June days are come again, once more the glad earth ye
Please join me in the spoken affirmation. The words will appear on your screen. We gather as a caring community, seeking life's deeper meanings. We value diversity and affirm the worth of all living things. We strive to speak truth in love, to act for justice, to grow in spirit, and to care for the earth. We celebrate with open hearts and minds the creative power that sustains and transforms us. Now it is time for our morning offering. You may donate electronically or by check. If you would like to donate electronically, please use the PayPal link in our website or in this morning's email. You may then email admin@kuuf.org to let us know if your donation is for the KUUF General Fund, the Minister's Discretionary Fund to help our members in need, or our monthly charitable giving recipient. The charitable giving recipient for June is the NAACP Bremerton Unit 1134. Funds that are not given a designation will go to our general fund. If you would like to donate by check, please send a check to the address on the screen. In the memo line, designate to which of the funds your offering should go. If this is your first time at KUUF, you are our guest. There is no need to contribute. Let there be an offering to strengthen and sustain our community, which is sacred to so many of us. Our gift of music will be followed by the children's story.
Happy Flower Communion Sunday, everyone. I am Reverend Jessica. This is Liam. We have our flowers. We're sitting in our backyard with a whole bunch of flowers behind us. And it is time for our children's story. So we invite you to scooch a little bit closer to the screen. We are going to hear a story today about the first flower communion. And then following that, we'll sing our song as usual. And then we are going to have a special liturgy of farewell, a ritual of goodbye for Janelle, our religious educator, who is moving on. And we're so grateful to you, Janelle, for everything that you have done for us this year and the past. And we get this special chance to say goodbye. So happy Flower Communion Sunday and enjoy this story.
Come with me as we travel to Prague, Czechoslovakia, in Europe, the year 1923. There was a Unitarian church. Now, the building did not look at all like our church. In fact, it did not look like a church at all. It did not have a tall steeple reaching toward the sky like some churches do. It did not have massive doors carved of wood or windows of stained glass. It did not have a chalice, a piano, or flowers. The church had walls, a ceiling, a floor, a door, a few windows, and some hard wooden chairs. But thankfully, the church had people who came every Sunday, and they were the most important part of the church, because without people, any church is just a building, no matter how tall its steeple. The people of Prague had been through hard times. They had just recently been through 4 years of war. Many people in Prague had been divided about the war. Many had lost loved ones or had been hungry or scared, and even though the war had ended, many bad feelings still remained. The church also had a minister. His name was Norbert Chapek. Reverend Chapek had been the minister of this church for 2 years. Every Sunday he spoke to the people and they listened, sitting quietly on those hard wooden chairs. When he finished speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they went home. And that was all. No music, no candles, no food. Now Reverend Chapek, he was a thinker, and he wondered sometimes if there might be something, perhaps just a little something more spiritual. He wrote some songs and the people sang them, and it helped, but something was still missing. The church went on as before. One spring morning, near the end of May, as Reverend Chapek was out for a walk, he noticed the birds singing and the flowers blooming, and felt the sunshine on his face. How beautiful the world is! And then an idea came to him. The next Sunday, he asked all the people of the church to bring a flower or a budding branch to church the next week. Each person was to bring one. What kind? They asked. What color? What size? You choose, he said. Each of you, choose what you like. And so, the next Sunday, which felt like the first day of summer, the people came with flowers of all different colors and sizes and kinds. There were yellow and white daisies and red roses, blue asters, dark-eyed pansies, grape hyacinth, pink and purple, orange and gold, all the colors of the rainbow and more. Children helped arrange them and bring them forward to the front of the church. Flowers filled all the vases, and beauty filled their hearts. The church wasn't so plain anymore. They had created beauty together. Reverend Chapek spoke to the people, and they listened, sitting quiet and still in those hard wooden chairs. Those flowers are like us, he said, different colors, different shapes, and different sizes, each needing different kinds of care, but each beautiful important and special in its own way. He said a blessing of the flowers, which called for everyone in the room to see one another as family, despite differences, and to let the spirit of love unite them and help them live more joyfully. He invited each person to take a flower home with them when they left, a different flower than what they had brought. And when the service ended that day, the people turned and talked a little bit more among themselves. And maybe there was some laughter. And then they each chose a flower from the vases before they left and took it home as a gift from their church family. And each year, at the start of summer, they did this again.
Here we are in our living room again, and William is ready to go. So let's sing the song that we sing every week, and we're letting our lights shine. This little light of mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Everywhere I go,
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
for you and for me.
For you and for me, I'm gonna let it shine. For you and for me, I'm gonna let it shine. For you and for me, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This little light of mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Woo! Thanks, everybody. Keep letting it shine. Let us begin by lighting our chalice. And if you have a candle or a chalice near you, you are welcome to light yours as well. Our chalice is lit. Our fellowship family is constantly changing. Our community shifting as life shifts. Babies are born, children grow up, people commit themselves to one another. Loved ones and friends among us come to the end of their lives. Individuals move into our community and fellowship life. Others leave us, moving away to new places, new experiences, and new opportunities. It is important and right that we recognize these times of passage, of endings and beginnings. Today, we share a time of farewell with Janelle DiMatteo, who has served as our religious educator for the past 8 years and who is now leaving that role. Gathered today, along with Janelle and myself, are Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship's board co-chairs, Ellie Klauminzer and Ed Luby, as well as Jessica Demick, who is the chair of Children's Religious Education.
Janelle, we are so grateful to you for the way you have cared for our children these many years. You have provided opportunities for laughter, joy, learning, and friendship, and amazing art projects. You have taught our children about Unitarian Universalism and have given them encouragement to be their full and creative selves. You welcomed them and loved them. For all that you have brought to our children, our families, and our fellowship, we thank you.
I thank you, the children and families, and all the members of Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, for the love, the kindness, and support shown to me the last 8 years. I am grateful for the ways my leadership have been accepted and for the opportunity to get to know your beloved children, who I've enjoyed every single day that I've been around them. As I leave, I carry with me all that I've learned here.
As we gather today on Zoom, our entire congregation is not able to participate in our ritual. And so we are grateful to Ellie and Ed as board co-chairs for representing our congregation.
Now, on behalf of the Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, we would like to express our deep gratitude to you for your time among us.
And please know, even though you're parting now, the waves that you leave behind will continue to shape our fellowship as our children grow and remember all that you taught them.
Do you, Ed, Ellie, and Jessica, on behalf of Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, release Janelle from the duties of our religious educator?
We do.
Do you offer your encouragement for her path as it unfolds in new ways?
We do.
Janelle, do you release this congregation, our children and families, from turning to you and depending on you?
I do.
Do you offer your encouragement for the continued ministry here and for the relationship with whoever will follow in your position?
I do.
Thank you so much, Janelle, really, for all you have done over the 8 years and all you have done over this last year and a half. We will miss you so much, and we send you off with enormous blessings on your future.
Thank you.
And now let us extinguish our chalice. Spirit of life, we give thanks for the time we have shared with Janelle in learning, in service, and in worship. We give thanks for her creativity, her caring, and her passion for learning and service. Bless these gifts of hers as she explores new ways to use them in the world. And bless us that we may continue to be inspired by her gifts and to build on the work she has done with us. We offer this in the name of the love which holds us all. Amen, Ashe, may it be so. And now it is time for our joys and our sorrows. Though we are physically distanced from one another, our hearts and our spirits remain connected. When shared together, our joys are amplified and our sorrows lessened. We begin today with a sorrow and a reminder that giving justice to Black, Indigenous, Asian, Muslim, immigrants, and other communities outside of the dominant culture actually gives justice to all. We also have a joy from Alan and Ellen Newberg, who are celebrating their 56th wedding anniversary. They celebrated it on June 11th. Happy anniversary, Alan and Ellen. And we have a loving concern this morning from all of us here today in the sanctuary. Ed Luby's girlfriend, Elaine, is in surgery today. So Elaine, we send you our love. And we all hold Elaine and Ed in our hearts today. Now please join me for a moment of prayer and intention. Spirit of life and love, we are grateful for this community we share. In all the moments of our lives, for those loved ones and events shared this morning, and for those we yet hold in the silence of our hearts, we are truly grateful for the love and support of this beloved community. May the Spirit of life and love bring peace to us all. Amen. Bring me a flower, and know that you are loved, conceived in love, nurtured in love, set free in love. Bring me a wildflower, and know that you are strong and creative, able to grow and flourish in any terrain. Grow where you are planted. Bloom and dazzle the world with your talents. Bring me an orchid, and remember that all children are precious. Take seriously your obligation to tend to the most delicate of them. Bring me a cherry blossom, and know that time as you know it is fleeting. That the Spirit of love has given each of you just so much time to blossom. Use your time wisely. Fill every moment with beauty and grace. Bring me a poppy, and remember all those who have come before you, taking sustenance from the soil and enriching it anew with petals continuously reborn in the energy of the sun, the wind, and the rain. Know that you too will experience the elements in all their glory and fury, and that in time your petals also return to the earth, giving new life to the perpetual garden. Bring me a rose, and know that you are the perfect manifestation of a perfect transcendence. Bring me a bouquet of lilies and lilacs, gladiolas and carnations, magnolias and azaleas, tulips and daisies, and behold the beauty in the kaleidoscope that is you and me. Bring me a flower, and know that you are loved, conceived in love, nurtured in love, set free in love. And now for a moment of reflection. If we were all here today, gathered in this sanctuary together, celebrating this high holy day of Flower Communion Sunday, as we have in years past, you would see not only the flowers on the altar behind me, but you would have seen the procession of flowers being carried in from cars in the parking lot, flowers of all shapes and sizes and colors coming into the sanctuary, bunches of flowers carried in by children during the service, placed on the altar in ritual, in honor of the beauty of each bouquet, the uniqueness of each specimen, the bursting forth of life and energy, the magic that an armful and an altarful and an eyeful of flowers can bring. You would see these flowers against the backdrop of green in our windows, that is the Pacific Northwest, the green of our backyard from the sanctuary, the way the green is layered, green upon green upon green, a multitude of shades. Who knew there were so many different shades of green? And the depth of them this time of year, the dark old green that survived the winter, and the bright new green that was just born this spring. You would also see outside the fruits of the gardens of our members set out in the breezeway, free for the taking, different plants and vegetables. And if you walked up to the top of our campus, you would see Nancy Joe's garden, just starting to grow with seeds and plants that have been sown and nurtured by our members. And you would see the flowers that grow outside our buildings and all along the road and the driveway, planted there by one of our most dedicated gardeners, one of the members of our fellowship. You would see her care of this place and the care of all our members who work outside here and keep things tended to and growing. And today on Flower Communion Sunday, you might marvel at the sight of all this beauty, all this life. There is still life here in this place. The greens that shimmer, the plants that grow in abundance, the bees buzzing and the birds chirping and the deer that walk along back and forth, and the flowers. The flowers are blooming again. Summer has arrived. Our students and teachers, our families and children have survived what was, for some, one of the most difficult school years in recent memory, maybe ever. Our fellowship is coming through our time of physical distance, and we are on the cusp of being together in person again. We've started to see our families and friends eagerly unmasked as we greet one another, able to gaze up close at those faces we love. Some of us have gotten those longed-for hugs that we missed so much last year. We can feel all that is alive in this moment, all that is bursting forth. This year, the transition from spring to summer is an especially powerful one. But it is not a new feeling. The transition from spring to summer is always like a big gust of fresh air. This is why Unitarian Universalists honor it with the flower ceremony or flower communion. We take time to witness to the beauty and freshness that surround us, the evidence of what is most holy and sacred, what is most alive, and how this is mirrored in ourselves and our relationships. It happens every year. The flowers bloom, and so do we. And the flowers, so unique and so beautiful, inspire us with their easy extravagance. And they are only being themselves. They are merely expressing what is within them, what is innate and natural. Having been nurtured and cared for, having been tended to and given food and water and sunlight, having been loved, they bloom. Even those wildflowers, it was the earth and the rain and the sun that cared for them. They just needed a little freedom to grow. And then they bloom. And then we gather them in bunches, and somehow they become even more beautiful in their vast array, their diversity. They become even more glorious when we see them all together and recognize that what makes each different makes each special. This is a high holy day, marking the transition from one time of year, one rhythm of life to a different rhythm. And this year, more than any other, that transition from life lived indoors to life lived outdoors is especially meaningful and sacred. This is when we get to go out into the sunshine and bloom. We invited you to bring flowers to the sanctuary this week, and I thank you to everyone who did that. You can see them behind me, and you can see what a blessing that you all gifted to us this Sunday. And I want to offer my gratitude to you all, and I want to offer a blessing as well. The 13th century German theologian, Meister Eckhart, once said that if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it will be enough. And that is the prayer I say today. This year, in spite of all the obstacles in our path, we continued to grow and bloom. And that was because of our leadership, especially our board and our co-presidents. It was because of our staff, Tanisha, Mike, Brian, and Janelle, and our parish nurse, Jennifer Ingalls. It was because of our worship team and our music and tech teams. And it was because of all of our volunteers who kept things going even when they didn't know how. It was because of every contribution of every member and friend. Every single one of you went the extra mile. And I want to say thank you. This fellowship community, this garden, has grown and bloomed again this year because of you. If you are all in the sanctuary today, you might take this moment to look around. You might find a familiar or an unfamiliar face and smile at them. You might look to that person with whom you served on that committee, or that friend whose consistent presence in Vespers was a comfort to you, or that acquaintance who doesn't even know the way their email reached you when you needed it most. Maybe you are thinking of someone right now. I invite you to call that person's face to mind. That person who cared for you. And maybe they are a member of this fellowship, and maybe they are someone we might call extended family, one of your own personal beloveds. Whoever cared for you and tended to you this year, whoever kept you going and growing, call their face to mind and allow it to bloom into a smile. And in your heart, in your mind, maybe even aloud if you feel called to it, you can say thank you. And you can send that person a blessing. I guarantee someone is thinking of you, calling your face to mind and sending you a blessing. I know I am holding multiple faces in my mind, and right in front of my face, and I can't help but smile thinking of you all and what you have given to this fellowship this year. It has made a difference, and it will outlast you, your efforts. Though we as individuals bloom and fade, as life's transitions take us from one place to another, from one season to another, even from this life to the next, the garden remains, and all that has been becomes the fertilizer for the many abundant seasons yet to come. David Bumbaugh writes, "Flowers are a gift of grace, softening the harsh edges of reality. They invite us to seek the beauty in each moment. They encourage us to find fulfillment in life and the living of it. And they remind us that nothing is forever, that each moment passes on into another moment. One cannot keep the moment any more than one can keep the flower. One can only give thanks for the grace which makes the world our home, for those moments of beauty and delight, where we too may be lived by life, with nothing to gain, nothing to lose, nothing to prove." Our ceremony today reminds us of the beauty of each unique life, of the power in diversity, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, lasts forever. We turn toward this new season in gratitude, and we do not resist the blooming that is available to us this time of year. We remember that we too are a part of it. We too can bloom. And now for our ritual. As we heard in our children's story this morning, the first flower ceremony was celebrated on June 4th, 1923 by Norbert Čapek, who founded the Unitarian Church in Czechoslovakia. It was brought to the United States in 1940 by Dr. Čapek's wife, Maya. While Maya was here in the United States, World War II broke out, and she was unable to return to Prague. After the war was over, she learned that Norbert had died in a Nazi concentration camp. But his flower communion lives on in UU congregations around the world. And there is a traditional blessing of the flowers written by Norbert Čapek to begin the ritual. So I invite you into a moment of prayer as I bless our flowers. And you can hold your hands up if you want to, even at home, to help me with this blessing. You can even put your hands up on the screen if you're close enough. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask your blessing on these flowers, these messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as a most precious gift. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of us all are needed to do our work in this world. Amen. I invite each of you, sometime in the next few days, to return to the fellowship and receive a flower. Even if you didn't bring one this week, we have extra. We have plenty, as you can see. Please consider coming and taking one. These blessed flowers will be out on the breezeway, and I invite you to take a flower as a symbol. of your participation in the community of this fellowship, your participation in the community of humankind, your participation in the community of all living things, of your part in the universal community, that sacred web of life. Take a flower as a symbol that beauty and grace and joy and love are not matters of reciprocity, only allowed to those who have earned them, but rather that these come as gifts only, gifts that we are called to freely give and freely receive. And now for our closing hymn, a tradition at our fellowship to mark the beginning of summer. Go forth with a song.
May your life be filled with love. May your heart be filled with harmony. May your days be filled with joy. Go forth with a song. May your stars forever shine. May the wind be always at your back. May your skies be clear and bright. Go forth with a song. May peace and joy surround you, and may sunshine light your way. May music sound around you. May laughter fill your day. May your life be filled with love. May your heart be filled with harmony. May your days be filled with joy. Go forth with a song. May your life be filled with love. Go forth with a song.
Well, thank you everyone for being here again today. This is my last service until August. I am taking some time off, as I usually do in the summertime. And you might be wondering, in fact, many of you have been asking me directly the big question. When? When will it happen? When will we be able to gather together again in person? Well, the board is sending out a survey to get your input. So look in your email this week for that survey, and please take a moment to fill it out. It is very important that the board hear from each of you. The worship and tech and music teams are thinking ahead and looking at what it will take. And what is clear is that it will take a lot of effort, and we will need your support. So stay tuned for volunteer opportunities. It will take all of us to make this happen. And it will also take planning and effort and some time to get everything we need in place. And because I am taking July off, much of our planning is going to have to wait till my return. And I deeply appreciate your patience with this. It has been quite a year, as you know, and I am grateful for a little rest. When I come back in August, we will all bring our creative and well-rested minds to this endeavor. The Moving Forward Task Force and the board will assess where things are at that point, and hopefully we will have some solid information for you. In the meantime, enjoy the summer, and don't forget to allow yourself to bloom. Our coffee hour is on Zoom today after the service. The meeting ID is 438-451-134. It is the same every week, 438-451-134. And the password is coffee with a capital C. Children and families are invited to Zoom with Janelle today after the service. The link is in the description as well as on our website. Come and visit with Janelle and enjoy her last Zoom gathering. Children's Religious Education is also hosting a family solstice event next Saturday the 19th, where we will get to say our farewells to Janelle in person. So email cre@kuuf.org for more information on that event. And now let us extinguish our chalice. As we celebrate life's beauty, may we never forget that we are part of it. It blooms not only around us, but through us. We are here to notice the energy of life, the way it calls to us, holds us, and connects us. May we witness that beauty, that blooming, and feel that connection to earth and to one another. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.